Dear President of the Senate, Professor Dumitru Miron, dear Vice Rector Dorel Paraschiv, dear guests, dear participants, dear students, I'm very honored to open the 6th International Conference on Economics and Social Sciences organized by the Bucharest University of Economic Studies between 15 and 16 June 2023. The 6th edition on the topic Geopolitical Perspectives and Technological Challenges for Sustainable Growth in the 21st Century is inspired by the new trends and technological developments to ensure sustainable growth and innovation in business and research. This international conference is a scientific project based on the collaboration and commitment of all departments and faculties of our university, partner universities, national and international, to shape the 12 parallel sessions dedicated to challenges to education, entrepreneurship, business, public sector, civil society, in a very complex world of post-pandemic political and economic conflicts, war and global crisis, where resilience, digitalization, and sustainability become the key words for business environment, but also for academic research area. The 6th edition of this conference attracted more than 200 papers. Tomorrow, the conference will host paper presentation from authors originated from around 60 countries, such as United States of America, Germany, Italy, France, United Kingdom, Spain, Greece, Slovakia, Ireland, Czech Republic, and others. We are delighted to mention that Icess is not just an international conference, but also a forum for debate, a research platform, and a very important tool for dissemination, for research, and more importantly, a more useful and learning experience for PhD of our doctoral schools and also from other partner institutions. The publication opportunities of our conference are considered major assets, and we expect them to expand in the future. We have the partnership with two publishing houses, international publishing houses, Springer and Siendo, for the proceedings volume of this conference, indexed in Clarivate and Scopus and other international databases. The authors of papers presented have also other opportunities for publications in partner journals, which are indexed in Scopus and Clarivate, with impact factor and article influence score in core economics field, in order to support the research strategy of our university, but also in the line with the research trends, international trends in scientific research. In the next years, we hope to diversify the publishing opportunities with relevant journals for academic community, providing the necessary tools for academic promotion, evaluation, but also for a better positioning in national and international rankings of our university. I'm confident that this 6th edition of the conference will be another successful event of our university, and I would like to thank all guests and colleagues involved in this relevant project. Now I would like to invite Professor Dumitru Miron, President of the Senate of the Bucharest University of Economic Studies, for a welcome message to our participants.
Thank you very much, Ms. Vice Rector, for inviting me to this precious event. Honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, on behalf of Senate members, the highest deliberative decision-making body of our university, I would like to extend our warmest welcome to the 6th International Conference for Economics and Social Sciences. We are all delighted that you could join us for 2 intensive days of plenary presentations and focused parallel sessions. I am confident that these events will produce high caliber insights and, perhaps more important than ever, in-person networking that may raise the opportunities for future scientific connections. For those guests who may not yet know, this year is a very special year for our university, as we mark the celebration dedicated to the 110 years of existence since the establishment of our university by royal decree. This body, one of the highest higher economic education institution in Romania, first and very important. As you know, our university is one of the oldest and most famous centers of economic higher learning in Romania, third in a row of, let's say, establishment. First is University from Iași, the second is Bucharest University, and we are in the third row. We have a history spanning more than a century plus. Notwithstanding our pride in our past, we are eager to invest more in present and in future. We are living present which is fed by past, transformed in future, as someone said. The Bucharest University of Economic Studies aspires to be acknowledged as one of the Central and Southeastern Europe leading institutions of higher learning and research in the field of economics, business administration, public administration, international and communication technology, information and communication, and so on. With a rapidly growing international reputation, our university is the top school of economics and public administration in this region. The International Conference on Economics and Social Sciences is one of the major scientific conferences that, in this context, certifies university efforts to raise their profile and level of scientific acclaim at the national and, most important, at the international level. This international conference is to the 6th edition and has already established itself as a staple in the calendar of scientific events for members of our community and, more important, for our colleagues from abroad. The primary area of interest this year is geopolitical perspectives and technological challenges for sustainable growth in the 21st century, which is growing in popularity as the need for sustainable growth to drive economic, responsible, and resilient society. Icess 2023 offers a forum for all those with an interest in these already mentioned fields of interest. We have the pleasure to host here in our lectures rooms guests from more than 28 countries. Most of them, as I've discussed before, are for sixth time in our university. Our colleague from Portugal told me, and I am very proud to notice that. I have personally, and on behalf of the Senate members, I have no doubt that we will be able to exchange ideas during the parallel sessions on a variety of fascinating topics, including applied economics, statistics, data science, service learning, civil engagement, sustainable education, sustainable financial ecosystem, digital leadership, resilient and agile entrepreneurship, the future of labor, resilient agri-food, new geopolitical perspective, and so on. We would like to express our gratitude, we all, executive level and let's say legislative level of our leadership, express our gratitude and appreciation to the organizing committee for their tireless work to organize the multiple of small elements that go into making this conference such a well-run occasion. I congratulate all of attendants and I wish all participants luck and look forward to seeing you at the future editions of International Conference in this respect.
Professor Miron, indeed we have a large support for our research strategy. The Senate is a very important pillar of our research strategy, and we have a large support from the President, from the Vice President, and other members of the Senate. But also we have a large support from the business community, and student research is also an important part of the research dimension. That's why I'd like to invite to send a welcome message our Vice Rector responsible with business and social life and student life, Professor Dorel Paraschiv.
Thank you very much, Alina. It's a great pleasure for me to deliver a welcome message on the behalf of our rector, Professor Nicolae Studor, and on the behalf of our executive board. It's the main scientific event of our university, and I would like to welcome all participants, including our friends from abroad, from Sapienza, from Strasbourg, from some other university who joined us for these 2 fruitful days we'll have during our exchanges. As you saw, the topic of our conference is very actual because we are facing nowadays a lot of challenges post-COVID and during the war in Ukraine. That's why we'll have a lot of challenges in terms of nearshoring some activities, in terms of growing our business, in terms of sustainability. And you are here in Aula Magna, which is the most beautiful and respectable room in our university, and I hope that during these days we'll have a great exchange of papers and ideas in order to increase our academic level, but also to develop our friendship. I would also like to thank to our sponsors from the business environment, especially to Group AMA, to Ariana and to Judith and to other friends we have in Group AMA who sponsored our event. And I am positive that you will have a very fruitful meeting these days in our university. Good luck to everybody and have a fruitful conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We are aware that in a very competitive and challenging environment in which we live today, reputation is based on past successful edition, the novelty of topics, and reliable partners. This edition will consolidate the international visibility with the valuable support of our partner university, EM Strasbourg. I invite the Vice Dean of the University, Professor Enrico Prince from Business School, Strasbourg, France, who is also a chair of this conference, to share some thoughts with our participants.
Dear President of the Senate, Miron, dear Vice Rectors, Alina Dima and Dorel Parachev, dear colleagues and friends, ladies and gentlemen, in my capacity as Vice Dean of IM Strasbourg, the Management School of the University of Strasbourg with more than 60,000 students, I feel very honored to have the opportunity to say a few words at the opening ceremony of this year's conference here at Icess in Bucharest. And I would like to start with the fact of saying that it's always a great pleasure for me to come to Bucharest. My last time was in January with some lower temperatures at that moment when I taught a finance class here to your highly motivated master students. By the way, all of them with an excellent level in German. And representing today France, but having grown up in former East Germany, I can well imagine the long and bumpy road that Romania had to take since the fall of the Iron Curtain in 1989, and all the efforts that period of transformation has required. And I would therefore like to express my deep respect and appreciation to you for all the things that you as Romanians have achieved during the last 3 decades. Today, when walking through the streets of Bucharest, I sense a vibrant city, geared to technology, geared to IT, geared to the future, a city where you can literally smell the entrepreneurial spirit paired with pragmatism and a willingness to thrive. And this is the result of hard work and a strong will to succeed. And as a guest and visitor of Romania, I have noticed that dynamism of your country from the very beginning on, from the very first time when I came here to Bucharest, and I think it deserves to be emphasized and recognized. So, when coming to Bucharest, I'm also very proud of the strong and trusting cooperation between Icess and the IM Strasbourg Business School, a partnership that we have started in 2010. And over the last 13 years, we have continuously intensified our collaboration, starting with simple student exchange, then dual degrees, later extended to professor exchange, doctoral seminars, PhD co-supervisions, and finally joint research. Today, we at IM Strasbourg Business School consider Icess as a strategic partner within our portfolio of currently more than 240 international universities in 52 countries. A strategic partner with whom we want to move forward and further deepen the existing collaboration at all levels. And conferences like the Icess today are a perfect opportunity to further strengthen the partnership and particularly to exchange with the innumerable researchers that are present here today on potential topics on collaboration projects in the future to build together new avenues of development. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of my school, and particularly on behalf of our Dean, Babak Memon-Pazir, that many of you here in this aula know very well, I would like to thank you once again for having me here, and I wish to all of us an interesting and successful conference with lots of exchanges and ideas. And I'm especially looking forward to listening to our 2 keynotes and their remarks on, for the first, the impact of ChatGPT on higher education, which seems to be way faster and with a way greater effect than the one of the smartphone. And for the second, well, the evolution of the Romanian economy since 1989 and its convergence with EU development standards. So on that note, thank you very much, dear Alina, dear Mihai, for the invitation. Donc, je nous souhaite à toutes et à tous une excellente conférence. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much, Enrico. Indeed, our academic partnership is very precious, and actually it's extended also to the PhD school. Now, among the achievements, we welcome also the partnership, valuable and sustainable partnership with our business partners. The two best papers of the previous editions were published in an international journal with relevant impact factor in core economics, based on selection made by some members of International Scientific Committee and with financial support of our business partner, Grupama. I invite now Adriana Lazar, manager of Grupama, to underline the partnership with our university for Icess, especially to support the Best Paper Awards.
Honorable assistants, dear partners, ladies and gentlemen, I am very glad to be here today in such a beautiful historical place, but moreover a relevant institution for Romanian education, who form generation and generation of students that are valuable members and contributors in our society. We are very honored to be part of this prestigious event, which provides such a wonderful space for discussion and exchange ideas on such diverse topics for sustainable development, quality of life for better future. All these are very in line with our business purpose and with our strategy to ensure continuity for our clients, for our partners, and to be contributors to our society. Our partnership with Bucharest University of Economic Studies, it is very important for us in our strategic support of learning, research and development in general in our country, but in very particular for our colleagues, either we are talking about our young colleagues who are involved in our internship programs, or our colleagues who are involved in master or PhD programs. We are living in a time when information is available for anyone at a click distance. But we need spaces like this. We need universities and companies to develop specialists, to create projects, to gather, analyze, research, and give meaning to this information and make new discoveries that are relevant for our lives, for our business, and for our society. So thank you very much for having us involved in this partner. Thank you for our partnership overall. And I'm very keen to listen to your researches and to learn more about it. Thank you very much.
I would like to thank again to Professor Dumitru Miron, President of the Senate, to Professor Nicolae Studo, Rector of the Bucharest University of Economic Studies for support, the Vice Rectors, Board Management, to all Deans and Vice Deans and members of the Administrative Council who supported these events, Chair of the session, guest speakers, and of course to all participants of Icess who contributed every year to the successful evolution of this conference during these challenging times. The opening session, it's ending now, following the plenary session with the two keynote speakers, and also followed by a reception. Thank you very much. I'm glad and very honored to introduce you the first speaker of our conference. Sorin Vâlcea is an associate professor in the Management and Labor Relations Department at Cleveland State University. He received his PhD in management with a focus on organizational behavior and human resource management from the University of Oklahoma. His research interest includes leadership development, extra role employee behavior, working teams, and employment interviews. His work has been published in high-ranked journals such as Leadership Quarterly, Journal of Vocational Behavior, and the Journal of Occupational and Organizational Psychology. He holds a bachelor's and a master's degree in business administration from the Faculty of Business Administration in Foreign Languages, FABIS, of the Bucharest University of Economic Studies, which he graduated in 2004 and 2006. Since ASE is his alma mater, Professor Sorin Vâlcea accepted our invitation and came back to ASE today as a guest speaker of Icess. I really hope that this is a great surprise for his former colleagues or professors. He proposes us a very challenging topic, exploring the impact of GPT on business school education, prospects, boundaries, and paradoxes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dima, for the invitation and the lovely introduction. I assure the honor is mine. I'm glad to be back here, standing on the other side of the podium. I will talk today about something that has been preoccupying us for a few weeks now in the US on the education side. So it's going to be a bit of an unorthodox presentation because it's not a research paper per se. I'm not going to present any statistics. I'm not going to show any tests of hypothesis, but I will present some tests that some of my colleagues and I have done using ChatGPT on a business curriculum in response to some of the hype in the media about possible skill replacement and job replacement that these generative AIs may actually cause. So I'm going to start with a short anecdote. Basically, I started working on this presentation a few weeks ago, and as I was writing for the article and for the presentation, I had just returned home from school after a long day of teaching, and realized that we didn't have anything for dinner. So I had to make some decisions on what to eat. It was late. My child still had homework to do, so going out wasn't a feasible option at the time, so I had to decide what to cook on short notice. I looked in the fridge. I had some pre-cooked raviolis. They just needed a sauce. I'm not a particularly good cook, so usually what I do is I go to Google, my least favorite part of the cooking process, and I search for a recipe, and that oftentimes takes a lot longer than anticipated. I click on a link, I end up with a long exposition of where the recipe originated, the culture of the country where the recipe originated, stuff that might be interesting to some, but not to somebody who wants to have dinner ready within 30 minutes. But this time I did something different. I didn't Google anything. Instead, I went to Bing, something that I had probably not done before. Most of us never use anything other than Google for searching anything. But this time I did go to Bing, and I opted for the chat instead of the search. And I asked the Bing AI, which is powered by a very similar generative model as ChatGPT, the one that I'm going to be talking about today. I asked for a simple recipe for a sauce for raviolis. And within a few seconds, I had detailed steps with exact measurements, with the instructions on how to cook it, and 30 minutes later, there it was. My dinner was ready. This was all made possible by a type of, and I just posted here the steps, just so you see that it's detailed, it's concise, it's easy to do. This was all possible because of a new type of generative AI called a large language model, which basically allows us to communicate with an AI algorithm, an artificial intelligence algorithm, with natural language. It can understand, and I'd like to be able to make brackets around the word rather than quotation. This is, I'll explain why a little bit later, but it's able to process natural language and generate a response in a coherent, human-like style that is very difficult to distinguish from an actual human response.
Basically, the topic I'm covering is extremely complex, is still work in progress, I would say. And yeah, the outline of my presentation is the following one. I will start with some numbers on growth model, real convergence of Romania and the other CE countries. Secondly, I will present the results I obtained in an empirical analysis to look at the drivers of convergence, let's say the drivers of GDP per capita growth in the last more than 3 decades in CE countries, and I will end my presentation with the most important challenges I consider to be currently for CE growth, CE countries' growth in the next decades. Yeah, there are many more, but I think yeah, we should stop at the first 5. So first of all, the CE region made remarkable progress, I would say, in the last 3 decades in terms of economic convergence, and the story of convergence, I think, was very successful, driven mainly by strong capital inflows, triggered initially by structural reforms, privatizations, and later on by the reforms driven by the EU accession. And the EU accession acted as a catalyst for most of the countries in the region to go forward with different restructurings in the economies. I will use in my presentation the following definitions of the country groups. First of all, EU 15, the countries that became the EU members before 2004. New member states, which are the 10 member states: Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Estonia, Hungary, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Romania, Slovakia, and Slovenia. And the CE economies, by CE economies, we'll understand Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, Romania, and Slovakia. The objective of the presentation is to analyze the drivers of the real convergence in the CE economies towards the older EU members. And I will start with some basic numbers. The CE countries, I think, are quite different in terms of size, in terms of population, in terms of GDP. The biggest country in the region is, of course, Poland, and then Romania. In terms of the size of GDP, I think the countries in the region are ranking worse than in terms of population at the European level. So there is a long way to go in terms of economic development. Still looking at more detailed numbers, Bulgaria is the poorest economy in the region. Its GDP per capita reached only 58.7% of the European average at PPS in 2022. Czech Republic is the most developed country in the region, and Hungary is also relatively well developed, but the real convergence in Hungary was quite slow in the most recent years. Poland is by far the largest economy, and I think they progressed very well in terms of real convergence. The Polish economy was the only one in the region avoiding recession during the financial crisis. Romania is a relatively large country, and Romania used to lag behind the other countries in the region in terms of real convergence. However, in the recent years, the real convergence gained speed in Romania, and the current level of GDP per capita is not anymore low. 77.1% of the European average in 2022, which is higher than in Greece, Slovakia, Croatia, Latvia, and Bulgaria, and just a bit lower versus Poland, Hungary, and Portugal. Romania had the biggest or the highest GDP growth during 2001-2008, and the second highest in CE in the last 6 years. Slovakia used to be one of the fastest converging economy in the region, but lately they lost in terms of GDP per capita quite significantly. Ironically, after the euro introduction in Slovakia, their GDP per capita started to decrease quite significantly.